The sky over Earth pulsed with unnatural color, sickly indigo giving way to molten gold as if the heavens themselves were tearing. From the heart of this cosmic wound, a ripple echoed through the atmosphere, silent yet catastrophic in its wake. Birds ceased flight, oceans stilled, machines flickered. Something had come through, a presence that didn't belong to this reality. At the edge of the Arctic Circle, deep beneath a glacial trench, the fabric of space trembled. A lightless shape rose from the permafrost, towering and silent. Doomsday emerged once more, not born but awakened. Cracks spread across the ice like spider veins. The wind did not dare howl. The world remembered him. He had no memory, only rage. No purpose, only destruction. He did not breathe. He did not think. He simply advanced, relentless, inevitable. Every molecule of his monstrous frame thrummed with singular desire, annihilation. Somewhere in his primal mind, there was an imprint, an echo of a man in blue whose very existence reeked a challenge. A world away, on the far side of Mars, a figure stood on a red dune barefoot, his skin glowing faintly with internal energy. Dr. Manhattan stared into the shifting patterns of time, watching as endless futures unraveled like silk threads in a firestorm. He had known this moment would arrive. He had seen the awakening of Doomsday in 1,000 timelines, and in just as many the Earth ended. He didn't blink, didn't sigh. The thought of dread was foreign to him, though the consequences of inaction danced at the edge of every probability. A single step and he vanished. Back on Earth, cities buzzed with the normalcy of life, unaware of the storm approaching. But above them, far beyond satellites and sound, Manhattan reappeared, cloaked in stillness. Below him, a blur cut across the Atlantic, carving a path of seismic disruption. Doomsday moved like a meteor laced with fury. Manhattan descended. They met not with sound, but with a shift, a fracture in reality. Where their gazes met, light bent inward, one being born of atomic enlightenment, the other a creature of endless evolution and carnage. Doomsday did not slow. His fists, as dense as collapsed stars, crashed against the blue silhouette and passed through thin air. Manhattan reformed meters away, untouched, observing. With no emotion, he raised a hand. The world paused. Doomsday was caught mid-stride, the air around him crackling with the struggle of frozen motion. Atomic bonds tightened. Particles danced on the brink of annihilation. With precision beyond comprehension, Manhattan began unraveling Doomsday's cellular structure, atom by atom, reducing him to formless matter. But in the instant before dissolution, a tremor surged through space. Doomsday adapted. The energy that once threatened to erase him now fed him. His body convulsed, reformed, evolved. A growl like tectonic plates grinding erupted from his chest. This time, when he moved, reality bled. The air screamed. Manhattan observed, then raised both arms. The sky above turned black, not with clouds but with void. Stars disappeared. In that vacuum, Manhattan brought forth entropy itself. The laws of physics became unbound. Gravity, magnetism, motion, all twisted. Doomsday should have been undone, reduced to chaos. Instead, he thrived. For the first time in ages, something new had entered his being. Instinct sharpened by survival, powered by adaptation. The void tore his form, but each rend was met with resistance. His body contorted, then stabilized. His eyes glowed with predatory intelligence, crude but aware. He lunged. They collided midair. The impact forged a crater in the clouds. Shockwaves ruptured the ozone layer, sending satellite feeds into disarray. The moon itself trembled. Cities reported a roar as it shimmered at noon, unaware of the war playing out above the clouds. Manhattan countered with energy, so refined it left no trace. Doomsday absorbed it, skin thickening, muscles hardening. Each encounter left him stronger, closer to an apex predator capable of matching a god. Yet Manhattan remained unshaken. He split into multiples, manifestations of quantum presence across space. 10 Manhattans and 100 surrounded Doomsday from all angles, each projecting massive kinetic pulses. For seconds, Doomsday staggered. His flesh tore, Bones snapped, yet even as he bled energy, his regeneration accelerated. No two blasts struck him the same way twice. He evolved mid-attack, shifting vulnerabilities into strengths with terrifying precision. A single leap, and he decimated the copies. Manhattan reconstituted. Now hovering lower, he placed his palm against the earth itself. Tectonic energy surged upward, channeled into a single pulse. Doomsday was struck by the wrath of the planet. A mountain's worth of force erupted from beneath, sending the beast spiraling into the upper stratosphere. Silence returned, but not for long. High above, Doomsday righted himself. Limbs cracked back into place. His spine now armored with new ridges. His chest, once split by Manhattan's energy, was sealed with dense mineral plates. He let out a roar that fractured sound itself. Dr. Manhattan, still silent, finally blinked, not in fear, not in confusion, but in calculation. This was no longer about power. It was about limits. The skies over Earth rippled like disturbed water, fractured by the echo of two titanic forces warring above the clouds. Birds no longer flew. Oceans heaved as if in agony. Gravity faltered in places. Trees leaned sideways, and mountain ranges groaned under invisible pressure. Humanity remained unaware of the cataclysm, unfolding beyond mortal perception. But the planet itself felt every blow. High above the mesosphere, Doomsday hovered like a meteor wrapped in raw chaos. Energy surged across his hide in molten cracks. Patches of dense rock and carbon armor pulsated like living magma. His breathing, if it could be called that, was rhythmic thunder. He had survived. He had adapted. He had never been more powerful. Below him, Dr. Manhattan stood suspended, his body glowing a deeper hue now. No longer calm azure, but radiant cobalt tinge of violet. His gaze no longer drifted across time, but was fixed, unwavering, on one absolute certainty. Doomsday could no longer be left to exist. Time slowed. For a moment, all creation held its breath. Doomsday lunged. With a howl that warped space, he descended like a comet, fist raised, atmosphere catching fire around him. A single punch shattered the sky. The impact hit Manhattan squarely. His body vaporized into particles of light. But even as Doomsday's roar echoed across the stratosphere, the light converged again. Dr. Manhattan reformed behind him. Silent, ageless, unharmed, he no longer hesitated. With one hand, he reached out, gripping time itself like fabric and tearing it. Doomsday flinched. His movement stuttered, disrupted by a temporal loop that lasted only seconds. But to him, it felt like eternity. In that sliver of suspended time, Manhattan acted. Atoms were his language. Existence was his canvas. He rewrote Doomsday's body, not to destroy it, but to trap it in a state of constant contradiction. Matter fused and unfused in rapid cycles. Bones duplicated and disintegrated. Nerves misfired. Muscles grew and collapsed in a split second. Doomsday screamed, not in pain, he could feel none, but in instinctive revolt. His body tried to adapt, to recalibrate, to evolve. But the changes came too fast, too precise. Manhattan was no longer studying him. He was deconstructing him. Doomsday struck again, but his blows passed through pockets of warped space-time. Manhattan no longer existed in a singular position. He had spread across multiple points in the fourth dimension, always just beyond Doomsday's reach. Then came the final move. Manhattan raised both hands. The stars around Earth dimmed. He pulled energy not from the sun, but from the atoms of everything nearby. The very motion of the universe. From entropy, from heat, from decay, the vacuum bloomed. In that instant, Manhattan condensed the full potential of entropy into a singular, blazing point, a sphere of inverse existence, a black sun, not of gravity but of atomic finality. He drove into Doomsday's chest. There was no explosion, no flare of light, just silence, and then collapse. Doomsday's body convulsed violently, not destroyed, unwritten, unmade. Every adaptation, every molecule, every evolutionary triumph was peeled back like the pages of a cursed book. Bones became ash. Ash became particles. The particles ceased. Where he stood, nothing remained. No dust, No residue, not even memory. Dr. Manhattan floated above the earth, alone once more. His glow dimmed, his form flickered, almost weary, but not from exertion, from choice. The battle was over. The earth had been spared, not by luck, not by brute force, but by a being who decided its survival mattered. He turned his gaze downward. Civilization stirred. Skyscrapers blinked with light. Somewhere a child laughed. The planet spun, unaware how close it had come to annihilation. And then, without fanfare, Dr. Manhattan vanished.